It's a beautiful stretch of the woods here. Look at this. Phenomenal. There's only animal tracks through here actually, so you've got to be careful how you step, but very spongy, a lot of moss. An ideal place to make a video like this. What our ancestors used to call magic was things that weren't understood. It was a process that happened that made a result that was never really understood. And we'll always be in the same boat, but we sort of, as we become more conscious, or we become more aware of our surroundings and start to prove things, say scientifically or whatever, or master the process, if you know what I mean, discover exactly what's going on. We no longer call that then magic. It would be called, it would just be like a run-of-the-mill thing, just like anything we do today. But the funny thing about going to these seminars I go to, and at the moment they're like virtual seminars, and I'm not interested in taking part in anything like that. I'm not against it, but it per se, but I'd rather just be there with a room full of people. I go to some of these seminars for, say, Scientific and Medical Network, and a few others I attend, including Alternative View, by the way, which is absolutely amazing. Ian Crane, God bless him, he's he's still in a bad way, but he's doing really well at the moment, so considering he's still alive, I mean. But his seminars in AV11, which we were all booked into, a lot of us, they're fantastic for sharing this sort of knowledge and understanding. But also when you go to some of these seminars, not necessarily Ian's, but some of these Scientific and Medical Network, you're literally sat around physicists. You're able to speak with the world's top physicists at that moment, and also all your people who are just well into the, they're literally working in science labs on artificial intelligence and all that. Very scary group, that, almost culty, very, very strange, like they're building an energy up just speaking to each other, but as soon as anybody else outside comes in, they sort of freeze. You're like shattering their worldview or something, I don't know. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, so I go to these seminars sometimes. You're sat around all these people, and they got the PhDs and everything else, and I'm the only one there without anything, any letters after my name. So that's that. I just write loads of stuff on there for a laugh, with pen or something, But just to take the mic. Yeah, and you're waiting. You're waiting for a hand to come on the shoulder and say, "Excuse me, you shouldn't be here," because some of the stuff that they share, which is so cutting edge that sometimes not even people who would want to suppress that sort of information would even know that it exists out there yet. So you're right on that leading edge, especially when you're in conversations. And of course, being a common sort of guy, you'd be surprised how welcoming they are. Actually, lovely people. Just the AI group, they're weird. They're really strange, like they're possessed or something. But yeah, and when you speak to these people, I walk through to the dinner hall and I'm the only person there. I'm brave enough to just go, I'm going. Off at the motorway I go, and I turn up. And I'm in these surroundings of buildings I've never been in before in my life. Right outside of my comfort zone in one way, and right in the middle of it in another way. And, you hear about all the proof, and I don't use that word lightly, all the proof they've got of backwards time travel. And of course, not being indoctrinated into any one path. I'm not just sat in a lab studying one path of thought. I'm picking it up from everywhere, from society, from common folk, like myself. Then I'm meeting multi-millionaires and seeing how they live their lives, and then I'm seeing these people. And part of that pattern that you encompass the whole lot. You can piece things together possibly a bit better than they can, because they're just searching down one little narrow path. They're like specialists in their field. And when they proved that backwards time travel was a real thing, and how it's done through us as humans, through our minds, our minds travel back in time and alter the past. It didn't take me long, sort of probably driving home or something like that. Driving's that's my meditation. Just going along thinking of nothing, winding through the corners. A lot of corners in England. It's very windy roads, and there's something very magical about that, going through all the trees and out in the countryside. But yeah, it sort of dawned on me that if backwards time travel's possible, I mean, I'm talking now from perspective. I don't believe there's any future or past. I think it's all eternal now. But if backwards time travel's possible, that means that if there's a future, because if there's a past, there's got to be a future, whatever, then that would be possible for someone to travel back from the future and come back to the present and meet us. Therefore, bring in their molecules or whatever, or their thoughts, backwards in time to us. So that would make us time travelers forward in time. And so we would have the ability to go backwards in time and alter stuff, and we'd also have the ability to have foresight to go forwards in time. A lot of us know this because we get precognitive dreams and things like that, which are actually just you entering your alternative reality, what you're magnetizing to at that time. This is all really deep stuff. I mean, it's for you guys, because I know if you're watching any of this or this, then you're already open enough to let that go around a little bit, and or you already know it all anyway. One of the two. Not that I've heard anybody say this theory, by the way. We all know about backwards time travel being real, but just different thoughts, So you're in this thing, and if a consciousness can come back, if you can go back in time, then a consciousness ahead of you can come back in time and give you information. You can tap into it, and you can see what's going on. So when I'm at these seminars, I'm half expecting these hands on the shoulders, like I say, to come down and grab me and sort of say, "Excuse me, sir, you shouldn't be here." And then just escort me out the building, and everybody just to look around at me. And I don't know why I get that feeling. I just do a real deep sense of, I sit with my back to the wall. I always do anyway. Love sitting at the back of a room full of people and observing the reaction of the crowd. Is just as important to me as the person speaking on the stage, because there's a magical process there too, which is something for another video. But yeah, and then when I went, say for instance, you go on your dinner time and you're sat on your own, and these group of guys, you might know a couple of them because you've been a few times, and you start to know them, and they're real. I mean, they're top notch in the world. They've come from all over the world to meet up, and they'll call me, "Kai, come on over with us if you're on your own." And you start speaking, and the funny thing is, because you're speaking from you're not one of them. It's quite clear you're not one of them when you're sat there. And you start speaking, they sort of, you can see them, like, they just go stunned. When you talk about precognitive visions, about asking for hints to things, and it becomes your reality, about stepping into a dark room with your eyes open and going into that reality too, as well as just closing your eyes and going to that reality, they're just stunned. And then they said, "Well, have you got any, like, I want evidence and proof and all this sort of stuff?" I said, "Well, yeah, I've posted things and sent text messages to close family members and that. I'm telling them exactly what's going to happen. Then it's happened exactly the way that I've said it, and it's got to the point now where when I speak, they just take it in and then see it all happen. Is like a natural thing. Well, he always predicts these things. He just knows whatever he says just comes true. It's not like I'm any sort of messiah or anything. I'm just able, I suppose, to be open-minded enough to tap into exactly what everybody else could tap into. And so I think this is a really important video for those of you who are into magic and the magical circles and that, because you can draw on that knowledge to open yourselves up to the fact that you are a time traveler, both forwards and backwards, and don't let anybody tell you any different. Don't let any doubts creep in. And this is why those of us who sort of get those visual precognitive visions, and we ask for things and we get the visions and things like that, no one can ever shatter that in us. No one could ever destroy that confidence that we have. But because we've already proven it to ourselves, we don't need any outside interference. So Yeah, and they sit there and they're sort of listening and they're going, oh my God, you know, and it's like, you know that you've just set a piece of information in their mind that has gone made them sit on that aircraft on the way home to wherever they go on the way home to their own country or whatever, and they're really sort of stumbling on what you've said because you can tell because the whole table goes silent. I mean, people put their knives and forks down and they actually stop. You know, they put their hands on the table or their hands on their lap and they're like looking at you like you I don't believe it because they're obviously studying it. They're all chatting on the table. So at that point, you know, I usually just finish the food and then go off and let them have a little talk amongst themselves. But sometimes, you know, they just keep asking questions. They won't let you go because they don't hear anything that encompasses everything. And that's the main thing, is to draw all these people together and get them to work together because, you know, you need that wide range of different aspects to all talk. And once they all talk, they realise they've got a common view. It's just that they've all taken these little paths all around. And that's what we need to do. That's what we need to do in the alternative scene, is we all need to talk and combine everything and become very, very clever and very, very wise as a combined consciousness. All, you know, all the ones that are not NPCs. I mean, there's loads of them out there at the moment. I literally see all these people riding around on bikes with advertisements all over them and helmets and these little guys, and they're all yellow. You've got to wear yellow glasses because you're a cyclist now. You're not allowed to wear sunglasses. It's got to be yellow or something. And you just think it's Sims characters, you know. There's another Sims character, so I stop and ask them a question. They might have a clue to the game. it's quite funny, really, isn't it? But not taking the mickey out of cyclists. Obviously, I do that myself. I cycle around myself, but you do sort of wonder sometimes. Here we go again. I can't stop. Like, it's nothing personal against anybody. It's just I just find it all so entertaining and so wonderful, and it just makes you gaze around you in wonder sometimes at what's actually going on. And the more you question your reality and your sanity, I think the more sane you become.